You don't edit or anything, do you?
Nah, I don't edit. We're recording now.
Are we?
Yeah, so just... You
Don't-
literally walked in, took a piss, and whichever way you want.
Yeah, is it? There's
Yeah.
no left or right?
No, I stole them when I was on radio. I took them.
Fuck, these are brand new in 2002. Don't you press the what's it called button?
The what button?
The fucking music intro button?
No, I had that later.
Oh,
But
do you?
Lately I've been lazy. I've been leaving it out.
Yeah, because I've watched a few of them and
Yeah.
you press it to start with and then there's like
A piece of
45 seconds of like awkward silence between you and the guest. Hold on, I'll just turn my fucking phone off.
You're right. You can leave it on. You can answer calls. You can do what you want. Is that recording?
It's loose.
Yeah, that's recording. It's recording. Yeah, man.
So what's up, Catsy?
Not much. I had the day off today, so I just did a pod with Rosario.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah.
What, he's starting his own pod?
No, he just came in.
Oh, he came in?
Yeah, had a chat
Okay.
with him. What else did I do?
He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. Yeah, went for a swim and
Where did you go for a swim?
Brunswick Outdoor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's heated water, man.
Oh, is it?
It's 28. It's quite pleasant
Mm.
because it's fucking freezing when you undress.
Okay.
So when you get in, it's a huge difference. From 10 degrees to 28, it's nice.
It's nice to get in the cold water every now and then, though.
I think it's good.
But you surf, don't you?
Yeah, it's cheating, though, at the Urban Surf, the surf park in Tullamarine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been going there to learn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't mind going there. Is that the same one Evo goes to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to go there quite frequently before COVID.
That's not cheating. That's like, that would cut like 5 years out of learning to surf, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does, but I think you wouldn't go bragging about it.
Nah.
Evan's got a good joke.
All right, let's burn his joke. It's probably his only good one as well.
He got caught in a rip,
Yeah.
ended up in Geelong. Or Glen Roy, I think the joke is, in a Nepalese restaurant.
All right, that's
Fuck, he's
pretty
an
good.
idiot. That's
That's
great.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I had one, but no one gets it.
Okay.
I pay $80 a session, so it's expensive.
Fuck.
Yeah,
That
$80
is
bucks. I spent
Jesus
more. Here's the joke. I spent more than the late Christopher Reeve trying to stand up.
All right, I don't get it either.
Fuck. Yeah, so
Stand up.
Christopher Reeve
Reeve.
was Superman who spent all his money on stem cells trying to stand up when he fell off a horse and became a quadriplegic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's
If I have to explain it, it's
Yeah, yeah. And after you explained it, there wasn't like a huge laugh either.
Yeah, Evan's joke's funnier.
Yeah, that is really loose connection.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve. That's also like G.I. Jane type shit. Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, I guess.
How fucking old is he now?
I guess.
Oh, would he have been?
I asked Rosario what he would have done if he was Chris Rock. He reckons he would have roasted him hard. What
Yeah.
would you have done?
I reckon that's the only thing you can do.
Would you have...
But I reckon I would have just been stunned.
like Rock was?
Yeah. But I wouldn't have given a fuck about like Will Smith threatening me. I would have been like, shut the fuck up, Will Smith. But I don't know if in the moment, I would have had the wherewithal to start roasting him either.
Have you been in a fight in your life?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, heaps.
Okay, so you're acclimatized to that situation of...
I was more when I was younger.
Yeah. Because I've never been in a fight, really. So I think
You've never been in a fight?
Not really, man.
Oh, it
I would-
teaches you a lot of things.
I would have shrieked. What does fighting teach you?
It humbles you, especially if you lose, which I mainly did. I mainly lost all the fights. I used to fight all the time. I used to get into fights fucking all the time from like
High school or
in high school.
outside of high school? Everything?
Yeah, outside of like up until when was the last fight I was fucking in? I can't remember, but it was definitely in my 30s.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah, so
Right. Was that booze involved though?
always booze.
Always booze.
Yeah.
Even in high school.
Even in high school. Even in high school.
So
No,
it's-
like,
it humbles you. How does it
oh
humble
man, you get
Because you get beaten up.
yeah, because you're all cocky and shit, and then you find
Yes.
someone who's fucking stronger than you, better than you, like it just fucks you up.
Is it the equivalent of a stand-up death?
It is. It is. A part of you does die. And you do. You get humble, and then you start drinking more, and then you get less humble, and you're like, fuck you, and then you learn the lesson again. I had to learn the lesson like maybe 15 times. I got my ass kicked a fair bit. I got some real good fucking ass kickings, like real good ones, hospitalized and all that sort of shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. So
What put you in hospital? Or just a repeat fucking bludgeoning? Or?
it was sort of like that. See that scar here?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Just under your mo.
A fucking Irish guy bit my face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Irish thing to do.
Yeah,
They're just fucking next level.
they're next level. He
I'm gonna fucking
he wasn't
bite
even a
you,
big
mate.
guy either.
Really?
Nah, he just fucking. We got into. It wasn't my fault. This is one of the very few fucking fights I got into that wasn't. I didn't instigate pretty much 100%. He just followed me into the toilet. I was speaking to some girl at his table.
Were you cutting his lunch?
No. I've told the story a few times before, but I was at a bar and there was a big line to the bar and I just started speaking to the girl next to me, just going, what the fuck's going on? It's taking forever. It took like half an hour to get a drink. And then I just left, went outside. I was tanked as well. It was the All Blacks versus Australia, so I was watching that and I was fucked. And so I went back outside. Then I walked through the pub to go to the toilet and I saw her there and she was sitting at a table with two dudes. And I was like, I stopped and I said something to her like, oh, that fucking line or some bullshit line. And then the Irish dude, one of the dudes sitting at the table, was like, fuck off, your cunt. And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? And he's like, oh, she's fucking married, fuck off. And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to fucking pick her up. He's like, just fuck off. And I'm like, all right, fucking, I'm out of here. And so I went down to the toilet, went into a cubicle, taking a piss.
Oh, fuck.
Because I fucking had a little bit of stage fright back in the day, and still do. And then I just get fucking punches in the back of the head.
Fuck.
I fucking turn around, and it's the Irish cunt. And I was trapped, so I had to kick off my pants. So I'm just in my boxers. And then I push past him. I fucking run outside. I try
You
and run.
had time to take your pants off?
No, I just kicked them off while he was
all
like
that-
fucking throwing punches at me. They were around my fucking feet. Like, they were around my legs, like
Yeah.
my ankles at that stage. So I just kicked them off while I was like fucking dodging. And then I pushed past him. I ran out, and then there was like a few stairs, maybe like 10 stairs you go up to get into the main area. And so I got up like 3 stairs, and he grabs my fucking leg and rips me back down. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. And so we start fucking fighting, and I start doing pretty good. Like, I grab him behind the head, and I had a cast on my hand from a fucking another fight I was in like 2 weeks earlier, and I broke my fucking thumb. So I was in a cast and I was just fucking smashing him, and I pulled him too fucking close to me, and he just fucking latched into my lip, and I was like, oh, this is not a good situation. So I tried to eye gouge him, try hitting him in the balls and shit like that, and then nothing worked. So I just fucking grabbed his face. And while he's still biting, just went fucking, and he just pulled it out, and that went up, and
Fuck.
I went like this to see the damage, and my whole fucking arm was like covered with blood.
What a psycho.
Yeah, that's not even the worst. After that, I think I went into like a little bit of shock, so he kept on slamming me. I ended up on the ground.
No one's breaking this up, by the way.
It was,
Or did they think you were just rooting?
No,
with your
dude,
pants
I
off?
was like, I was in my. If anyone had seen it, they wouldn't have been like, that guy deserved that. My fucking face was mangled. I was in my boxers. I'm up against the wall, getting fucking smashed. And then the cunt he bites my leg. Like, he bites into my fucking leg.
Fuck. This
And-
guy should be put down, man.
Yeah. And that, I was like, when I was in hospital, I was like, oh, my leg's fucking sore. What the fuck's going on here? And I pull my fucking, and I pull my pants down and I look, and it's just a perfect fucking bite mark.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Did they catch him? Did he get
Nah.
nothing?
They didn't end up catching him. They found him and they took a photo of him, but he fucking knew what was going on because he had turned away slightly or something like that, or covered his face, because it was just a police officer with a camera, And then the cops came. The cops came like a month later saying, "Listen, do you reckon you can identify this dude?" I'm like, "No, I can't even remember what the fuck he looks like. I got no fucking idea." And they were like trying to push me, like, "If we showed you, would you?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." Like,
You got his dental records all over you.
yeah.
Surely they can just do a match.
Fuck. That was like but I ended up, that would have taught me a very good lesson, but I ended up fucking my nurse that was looking after me.
Okay, so you
In
got
there.
a positive out of it.
Yeah, so there was a silver lining to the whole thing. So
You said before, was that an episode conducive of your alcohol consumption, or like it sounded like you did nothing wrong? It sounded like
I did nothing
like
wrong
just
in
wrong time, wrong place.
Yeah, but
You can't blame the booze for unless you're watering the story. Unless you walk past and go, "Hey, would you like a root?" And by the way,
no. This one was like completely
not
innocuous. It was not my fault at all, but in the grand scheme of things, I probably deserved it, if you understand what I mean.
No, I don't. What do you mean grand scheme? Karmically.
Okay.
You had it coming.
I had it coming,
Do you think you have a certain swagger and attitude when you're on the piss? And that's
yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's why I had to fucking quit. There was too much comes out, and I just get uncontrolled. I just want to burn the whole fucking joint down.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you're one of them.
Yeah.
I had a chat with you and I was like, "Oh man, I can't fucking believe," because I pour beers at a pub, and I had a chat with you one day and I was like, "I can't believe people come in at 9 a.m. and just like get a schooner of Vic and start drinking." And I'm like, "That's fucking weird, man." And I remember I looked at you and you looked away, and then you just said, "That would be a dream day."
The perfect start to a day.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
by midday I'm fucked. Like the day's a write-off. I'll need sleep, and then when I wake up, I'm groggy. I can't function.
yeah, but you only do that at 9 a.m. if you've had a big one the night before as well. So the day's write off regardless. You might as well.
Yeah.
You're writing off the next couple of days when you do that.
Yeah.
You start at 9 a.m.
So was that the main reason you gave up? Because you haven't drunk now for like what, 4 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Which is, it's a long time because I was like, that was my one true love.
Yeah. Yeah. I go through periods of non-drinking and then go back to it because I don't think I'm that bad.
Yeah.
So at the moment I haven't had a drink in 5 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's.
And then.
But when you drink, do you drink a lot?
Not really.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm not a bad drinker, but I just if at my age 45,
Yeah.
it fucks the next couple of days.
Fucks it completely.
And it starts to ruin something that's becoming increasingly important to me, sleep.
Sleep, man. That's my last remaining drug.
Yeah,
It's the best.
you really go to sleep like a kitten if you haven't been drinking alcohol for a long time. It just settles you down into this restful sleep.
Yeah, and that's sleep, man. That can be like fucking taking acid and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And just the way you feel in the morning, fucking sleep is the best now.
Do you have to have a routine?
Yeah, and if I deviate or
You're
sway
fucked.
from it at all,
I had a feeling.
Fucked.
I had a feeling. Why is that? Why do you have to control yourself between every tick and tock? Otherwise, you're scared of a slip up. Is that?
I'm not overly concerned about the slipping up on the drink or anything like that anymore. But I need the routine just to fucking keep the mental health going. Like, as soon as you stop doing the things you know you should be doing, it just fucking spirals. Like, the mental health just deteriorates almost immediately.
Oh,
now.
okay. Is that an ongoing issue for you, mental health?
Not really.
Right.
Like, it's just like I know when I'm not doing what I need to be doing, which is like I need to be writing, I need to be exercising, I need to be meditating,
Yeah.
and I need to be eating healthy and fasting and shit like that. If I'm not doing any of those, or even if I miss 2 of those and I'm doing the other 2, shit gets real like it can spiral into dropping off the other 2 and then like.
How does it
getting
manifest itself? Are you short-tempered?
Yeah.
Everything's shit. Like you just
Yeah,
snap.
I suppose like a little bit of like negativity
Yeah.
and like maybe
So the missus will be like, just go fucking meditate with you, or
yeah, she notices now when I'm not meditating. I don't even think it's doing anything, the meditation, and then I'll stop for like 3 days and I'll be going off my head like road rage, fucking. I would say it's mainly a fucking anger issue. And I don't know where the anger's necessarily coming from. I could probably guess if I sat there and...
Maybe your anger is God-given in a good way. Like it's meant to be used for positivity, like on stage. Like Bill Burr channels his anger.
Yeah.
I've seen you channel your anger wonderfully on stage.
Yeah,
I miss not having you here in Melbourne because a lot of comics are like, you're a great act to watch when you've had a string of gigs in succession.
Yeah.
And you start feeling comfortable.
Yeah, when...
You get to this place where you're riffing and you're angry and you're upset at the world and you come up with gold and it's great.
Yeah, it's just about getting those successive gigs in a row. I fucking drop in and out a little bit. But, yeah, I'm going to Edinburgh in August, so...
So you're actually going to do the festival, right? That's right. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. Do you know if you're... Yeah, tell me what you're doing. You're committing to 3 weeks?
No, I'm just doing 2 weeks. Because they had some flow over from the year before because it got cancelled or some shit.
Of course.
So they offered me 2 weeks. So I'm doing 16 nights. So 16 nights in a row of my solo show.
45? 50?
An hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
That's great.
But I'm thinking like, just from doing the Melbourne Comedy Festival, just doing that longer time, you can add shit to it and it starts fucking blossoming, like developing. And then by the time you've done 8, you're like, I'm fucking over all this material. And you start riffing a little bit, going off script and see what happens. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah. I think that's why comedians grow so quickly in the US because the cycle of gigs they go through, you just can't do your material. The road. Yeah, and you just can't do your material for a long period of time.
Yeah, well...
Unless you become dead behind the eyes, like that sort of, I've seen that.
Yeah.
We actually asked one guy at a gig, we were like, this is in Jongleurs in England, which is like a McDonald's chain of comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Sean Percival.
Okay.
They go to him at the bar, like you've been doing the same material verbatim for 20 years. The only thing you've updated is when Indecent Proposal went from cinema to VHS to DVD to Netflix. That's the only thing you've changed. And they go, why haven't you written a joke? And he goes, because before this I was a welder.
Yeah, every 8 years he pulls out the pen to change that.
To change that. So he was a welder before that in another life, and he's like, that's it. That's all I want. I've got this 20. I don't know. Do you see yourself... no, you definitely are not that comedian.
No.
You're an evolving comedian. Like, as shit happens, you have to talk about it.
I can't even, like... I've been thinking about comedy because I spent a year in India recently and the gigs were, like, up and down. Like, there wasn't that many. It sort of got decimated through, like, COVID and all that. And so I thought about, like, what I even want from comedy. And there's not too many paths I can go down that I would be satisfied with. Like, I wouldn't want to be like the cruise ship comedian. I couldn't do that ever. Especially in Australia, like trying to earn a living just off stand-up around town and all that sort of shit. Like, that's almost impossible.
I think it's very, very close to impossible.
Yeah,
especially if you're not backed by radio or TV gigs.
And I don't want to do radio or TV, so...
It's hard, because, you're boxed.
Yeah, so...
Well, they won't take us.
No, they will...
We're not... They've got a different criteria.
There's no fucking... I'm not even anywhere near the radar.
There would have to be an apocalypse. Like a mass virus of extinction.
But I wouldn't even want to...
Nah, we don't want him.
Those guys just seem like... They seem like they're dead behind the eyes, some of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do the fucking radio thing.
So what do you want out of comedy when you answered that, when you asked yourself that question before?
I just want to build my own audience, have them stretch myself material-wise as far as I can, because you can sort of like, especially here, because you only get like certain things if you're like radio and all that sort of stuff, and then radio and TV sort of weakens, like dilutes your material, and Yeah. So stretching it as far as I can with my material, doing like as much as I can do. Yeah. I don't, yeah, that's all. That's the only thing I really want is just own audience and be able to like stretch myself. I don't want to say artistically, but like that's what I mean.
Without sounding like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, without sounding like a fucking retard.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The first part, building your own audience, you're kind of doing that already. You've done really well at that. Like
slowly.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be congratulated. Like you've built up. Well, tell us. You got a podcast where you talk for 5 minutes every single day.
5-10. It blows out to like 15, 20 every now and then.
And it's called
I'm Quitting Alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's like a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
But the idea was like when I quit drinking, I just started doing a podcast every day, and it's been 1,071 days today. So I've done a podcast every day for 1,071 days.
Yeah.
No matter what. That's That's through.
That's a great
hospitalizations.
Wow.
Fucking
getting your lip bitten off.
Hello everyone. Yeah. Like airport, fucking wife's miscarriage. Yeah, all sorts of shit. So it's just one of those things like I'm fucking doing it no matter what. I just have to do it. So yeah, I've done that, and I've built a little bit of an audience from that. Just it's small, but they're loyal. But also, the shit I talk about and the way I talk isn't going to be like a sort of mainstream sort of thing. It's going to be a niche type vibe. So
yeah, but it's interesting because isn't it mainstream? Like so many people have problems with alcohol, and it's a great refuge to listen to that.
Yeah,
you know. So, and then it's just your take. It's turned into a comedy podcast by default because it's just your way of talking.
Yeah, it's comedy because you also can't talk about quitting booze for 1,071 days. You have to talk about your life and shit like that, and just whatever the fuck's going on. But it's like I've built a little bit of an audience. So there's the start, and it's international as well, which is like one of the key factors. So it's like bigger in the US and the UK than it is in Australia.
Interesting.
And there's listeners, like I reckon I could sell 3 tickets to my show in probably about 60 countries, but only 3 tickets. We're trying to get more than 3.
What crazy, weird countries listen? Have you got any weird, I don't know.
Like North Macedonia, there was that. I got a listen from Antarctica.
You're joking?
Yeah, Antarctica had a listen. There's
Fuck, he's gone to extraordinary lengths to give up piss. Good luck to them.
The fucking Cayman Islands. There's someone in the Cayman Islands who listens.
It's a hard area to give up piss. Those cocktail drinks.
I get a... Yeah, and who the fuck's in the Cayman Islands? Some banker.
Yeah, rich fuckers.
Banker running away from tax. Cunt's not on my fucking Patreon, though. Yeah, just like there's Africans, Saudi Arabia and shit like that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's human beings, man.
Yeah, everyone's got fucking problems.
Ubiquitous.
It's, suffering and struggle.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
It's the main currency here on Earth.
Have you turned the miscarriage of your into comedy?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I did it.
Wow.
I did it once at the Bronny. This is like 2 years ago, just after it happened. And I hadn't fucking figured it out. I just said it. I just said what I thought the joke was. And I never did it again until last Thursday when I did my show.
Why didn't you do it for 2 years? Did it not sit right? Was there a reason why you didn't?
I was just like, I'm maybe not good enough or confident enough right now to be able to pull it off yet.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah. Because like with material, your skills need to be in line with the material as well.
Fuck yes. There's a lot of people that think they can handle certain tough subjects and they're just brand new acts and they fuck it right up. So it's best to just
Yeah.
learn in primary school, stand up, and then as you mature, tackle the big subjects.
Yeah.
So I respect
Because it
that.
does.
You tried it 2 years ago, and then you're like, nah,
I knew there was something in it.
not ready
though.
yet.
Yeah. I think it will turn into one of my best bits.
Oh, yeah.
But then I tried it on Thursday, and I hadn't tried it since. But I was doing it to my crowd, like my
Sure.
podcast crowd. So I was like, I'll do it on Thursday, and if it doesn't work here, it's probably not going to work anywhere. And
Yeah.
that everyone was on board. They were like engaged, and then all the jokes were working. So I was like, oh, that was the thing I was happiest about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Because I think that's where you get your joy.
yeah.
Isn't it? Like the darker shit.
Yeah, the harder.
The harder it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean by stretching. Like doing the hardest. Like it's pretty hard to write a funny joke about your wife having a miscarriage.
Yes. Yeah.
So like I'm like, all right, that's cool. I enjoy that because like there's so many topics that are just like, who gives a fuck? And you've
Yeah.
heard most of them before anyway.
I know.
Yeah, it's
You're not a Seinfeld.
No. And you also got to find a way, because all the topics are taken and there's so many fucking comedians now, you got to find a way to like personalize it, make it your own like idea, like concept or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you do know.
Yeah.
You do. That is it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Which is...
I mean, someone can lift your material, but they're essentially lifting your character.
Yeah.
They're lifting you, not your material alone.
And
it's no longer it's like Louis C.K. If you read his stuff written on paper, the laughs don't jump out.
yeah, they don't.
It's when you actually watch it, you're like, wow.
Yeah. Because he has command of everything that's going on. It's like we were saying before, like your material and you have to be in line. I've gone back and like rejigged some of the stuff that I wrote when I was first starting out, and I just couldn't pull it off when I first started out, so I just had to put it to the side, and then I waited like 6 years for it to come back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, to get those like just this little bit of skill and a little bit of confidence that you need.
Is your partner appreciative and respectful of what you're trying to do? Like, or is she questioning, why are you talking about this content? This is so hard.
She's as good as you can possibly get.
That's good.
Like, she's not perfect.
Yeah, like she won't be front row with a fucking baseball flag.
She honestly doesn't give a fuck about it. I told her, she's like, that doesn't sound funny to me at all. I'm like, yeah, well.
I can picture that.
Yeah,
I've had
I get
exes with that reaction.
Mm.
Fine.
But yeah, with anything like that, she's fucking sweet.
That's the buzz, though, isn't it? Going back to that, you want to do that piece of material where, like, I remember with me, with my mushroom stuff, like, I was writing it and dying on stage for 6 months.
Yeah.
In a small little shitty gig in Coburg, which was fantastic. I fucking loved it. You weren't here. It was Dumpster Fire.
Yeah, no, I did that a couple of times.
I love that gig.
Just straight out of COVID. They had 2 shows in one night. I did the first show. It was my first gig back. Fucking had a great gig. Did the second show. Fucking bombed so hard.
Yeah, I bombed there a lot, but that was it was a work in progress type of gig.
Yeah.
No one gave a fuck because they were all stoned.
Yeah,
so
everyone was fucked.
Their attention span is, all right, it's not waning. They're there. They're going to give you a lot of grace.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I love about that sort of material, just pushing boundaries.
Yeah. That's, like, I can't really do the other stuff. It doesn't interest me. Like, I do have, like, some hackier type shit in my act, but that's really just to get you from one point to another, most of it. And to lighten the mood.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, when you don't have your own crowd, you fucking... That's what I found, because on Thursday was the first time that I'd ever had people come out just to see me.
Sure.
Am I in there?
Yeah. Every now and then I just get paranoid that it's not recording, but it is.
And, so that was the first time I ever had a crowd come out for me. And I didn't have to, like... They already liked me. So I didn't have to try and win them over with anything. I didn't have to like water anything down. I didn't have to like pull any punches or anything. I just did my shit as naturally as I could, and it was like heaven.
I saw 40 minutes. I saw half an hour. And
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
I've never seen you. I think I told you. I've never seen you that relaxed and comfortable on stage and commanding at the same time.
Well,
like, because you have a tendency to stiffen up your posture.
Everything gets stiff.
You look weird.
I feel weird as well, and that fucking trickles on into the like.
Yeah, and
I get like rigor mortis or some shit like that.
You look fucking retarded, and I'm privileged to be one of those that can see it, because in many years to come, you're not going to exhibit those traits. So it's nice to know. I knew him when he was retarded.
Yeah, retarded.
But not now. Like you're definitely going to get rid of that.
That's improvement. When I first started comedy, for the first year, I couldn't even take the mic out of the stand. I was just like,
yeah, right.
I couldn't, and I was like, I couldn't move with the mic or anything. So I just like stood there holding the thing and just talking into it. Then eventually I got the courage to like move side to side a little bit and backward and forward. And then I'm like, you can do it, Dave. You can do it. And then I pulled it out and I was like, yes.
Excalibur.
It's been torture. But those first couple of minutes for me, every time I fucking walk on stage.
To this day?
Yeah, like it's just
like tonight's gig.
Yeah, probably. I don't want to say yes, but I just stiffen up. Something happens, I stiffen up. I'm thinking of like just doing something out, like a little out there every time I go on stage, just to I don't know get it out of my system or something like that.
No, I sort of, before I go on, I say, this doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's all.
That's how I walk through life, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So just approach it with this, like, Nietzsche fucking, just whatever. It's all nothing.
Yeah.
And it has a habit of calming me. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Whatever happens. And then I sort of, like, relax.
And there's no argument to that either. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's just time.
You just got to, fuck. It's.
But after 2 or 3 minutes, then once I'm in, I'm loose. But yeah, those 2 minutes, they can be, I think I've got it down to like a minute now. That first minute is tight, and then I can start moving around.
So, changing gears, man, you lived in India for a year.
Yeah.
Did you feel odd as a Westerner?
Nah, man. I feel odd
Here.
back in Australia.
That's great.
Yeah,
so you've embraced Indian culture.
Yeah, I always felt comfortable in India, even like the first time I went there, which is like
who are they?
10 years ago.
What can you tell me about the Indians from your experience that we can't? Like, for example, Aussies were just lots of barbecues, lots of bogans.
Yeah, they're just like
don't hit them with too hard opinions. They just want to have a good time, have a few drinks. They love the footy. Well, what's an Indian in the suburbs like?
It's just like loving. The whole culture is very loving, especially in the families, like cousins and all that. There's a lot of backstabbing and like bitching and all that.
That loving comes with a price tag of honor, backstabbing. Yeah,
there's a lot of that shit too.
Yeah, because the Greeks are very loving and the Italians are very loving. But if you cross a family member, you're fucking disgrazia. You're fucked.
It's very similar. Except. There's a lot of fucking infighting in the families and all that sort of stuff, but there's like you're always welcomed with like open arms and all that sort of shit. Like my family's like Kiwi Australian, so it's a little bit standoffish type thing, whereas like the Indians are just like they just shower you with like love.
When you say so let's say you've I'm just thinking with Wogs, right?
Yep.
If you go to a Wog cousin's house, you can't go empty-handed.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that like Indian culture?
Same.
You got to take a cake or...
You got to take something. You got to bring some food. Yeah, you got to take
Aussies,
something.
you can just rock up. Like, just come.
With Aussies, if you bring something, it's like, what's this cunt?
Yeah.
Does this cunt expect me to buy something for him next time? Like, what the fuck is this cunt doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the chaos of India that
You love.
fits my personality perfectly. Like the no rules, and you can sort of buy your way out of trouble there if you've got a little bit of money. So
You like that, yeah.
I like the corruption to a certain extent is good.
Yeah, so
because all the bullshit
just
laws,
slightly dialed in to the right.
Yeah,
a little
but
bit, not turned up too much.
it's crazy over there. The corruption though, it's too much.
I thought Russia is too much. Like
Russia
Indians-
seems like it's running pretty nicely, except for the war shit. But Russia seems like they're doing all right. In India, they will tear up a fucking road and half rebuild it, and whoever the politician is, they just take the money. So they'll start a road work just so the politician can
get some votes.
No, not to get votes, like just so he can like skim the money off the top. They don't even finish it. So there's holes in the road, like the infrastructure is completely fucked.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. They all the politicians are just stealing all the money in India.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very corrupt. But those like shitty little laws you can break because like you can just bribe a police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the cool thing.
Yeah, whereas here we do 3Ks over the limit, we're fucked.
Yeah, and there's no way of going to a police officer. I'll give you fucking a hungy. I'll give you a hungy and let us go.
Whereas in India, okay.
Yeah, India's okay. It's like I'll give you a $5. They're like, plus they don't want to. They can't be fucked with the paperwork.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no one wants to do shit there. Everyone's just standing around doing nothing. Like there was a small little fucking bridge flyover near where my wife lives, and that was started when I first went there 10 years ago, and it only finished last year.
Fuck, a
It
decade.
took 10 years, and it was tiny.
I like their pace.
Yeah.
Very similar to a Greek pace.
It is.
It sounds like Greece and India would get along. Corrupt, slow,
Yeah, there's a lot
inept.
and you don't like marrying outside the family and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I suppose all ethnicities are like that,
I think so, yeah.
except the
Yeah.
Western ones.
It's an Anglo-Saxon, my mum
Yeah.
reckons. They're the coldest. She's like, they're too cold. Don't bring an Anglo-Saxon girl home.
Cold.
She's like,
I say that as well. I hate whiteys. Not hate, obviously I don't hate whiteys, but
they're cold.
and crazy. Like, have you dated white bitches?
Yeah.
They're the craziest bitches out. Like, there's no one crazier. Like, evil. When I say crazy, I mean like the evil side of crazy, because there's crazy bitches everywhere. But fucking, like, I dated white girls and like Australian girls. I'm specifically talking about Australian girls. Australian girls are the worst in the world.
I'm the wrong person to ask, man. I'm Greek. I'm crazy. I was crazier in my 20s.
Yeah.
Just Greek. Greeks are nuts. Greek girls are nuts.
Yeah, I went to school with fucking heaps of Greeks.
Oh, yeah, you grew up in Sydney.
No, I grew up in, like, I half and half. I grew up Cheltenham and then Dramana.
Oh, you're joking.
Nah,
What's the Sydney connection?
I was born in Sydney. I spent, like, my first year there.
Didn't you cut your teeth?
No, I lived in Sydney.
Yeah, you cut your teeth in stand-up.
Yeah, so when I was, like, 19, I moved from Melbourne to Sydney just because I was drinking too much.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I would never have left Dramana. I was just drinking with all my mates
Oh, God.
for a full year after high school.
What a recipe.
Yeah.
Dramana and booze.
And that's when, like, there was some, like, rough dudes down there back then as well. Dramana isn't what Dramana's like now. Back in the day, Dramana was, like, rough.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
We had we got belted by Aussie kids. And they said to us, we have to belt ya, and if you don't let us belt ya, we're gonna burn your holiday houses down when you go back to Melbourne, you fucking wogs. So my cousin copped a belting, the poor guy, and I just it hurts, man. He got belted so hard because we couldn't retaliate because they'd said, yeah, when you go home, we'll burn your fucking houses.
Yeah, okay.
And this is before smashed avocado on the high street. This is when it was like dim sims, fish and chip shops,
that's all it was.
Push bikes and arcade parlors.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That used to be like one of the hobbies. We used to fight tourists. They used to come down. They used to come down and think they own the joint, but you can't walk into someone's town and think you're gonna win a fight. There's cunts coming out from fucking everywhere.
True.
There was this one fight we fucked up these guys like real bad.
Dramana,
yeah.
Yeah. When you were what, 15, 16?
Yeah. There was like this guy.
Wog?
Yeah. And there was a bunch of them too, but there was this guy who was like fucking, he was like 6'4" or something like that. I was like 16, but I knew all our mate, like we had like fucking all the older guys, we had everyone there, and they just started fucking with us, like the kids, like all us 16-year-olds, and they were like, blah, blah, and we got the bigger guys. One of us ran across the road and told the bigger guys, the older guys, and so we got cocky. And so I'm standing there next to this big guy, this big wog dude with his t-shirt off, and I'm like giving him nipple cripples and shit like that, just going, the boys are coming. And then this fucking car pulls up, and I thought it was one of our guys, and I look over, and it was some other fucking wog, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And as soon as that car pulled up, this fucking big dude just went wham. Just fucking cracked me like right in the fucking nose. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. And then everyone jumped in, and it was like a full on, it was a street brawl.
Fuck.
It was like 10 on 5 or something like that. And
were your parents like policing you at that time? Like, why is your face busted up, or was it just anarchy your household?
No, all my group of friends were from fucked up families or homes. They were single parent, and even that single parent was struggling. There was a group of us of like 8 or however many. It was most of us actually. Just had no parental supervision. We were just doing whatever the fuck we wanted.
That's the recipe for disaster.
Definitely.
When kids have this essence of lawlessness in their upbringing, you're breeding a bad generation.
It's taken me, even now I battle against it, but it's taken me so long to learn the lessons I should have learned when I was like 18.
Where were your parents back then to fucking tell you this shit?
Well, when my parents split up when I was like 8, that's when it all turned. My old man went to Sydney.
Okay. So your mum raised you in Dramana?
No, we stayed in Cheltenham for a little while.
Okay, sorry.
And but she was like an alcoholic. She was a proper alcoholic, and she was like on the pokies and shit like that. So she was as good as absent most of the time. So we just run amok. Like my brother ended up in jail for a little while. He was fucked, and then I was like, I probably came as close to going to jail as you can without going to jail. So yeah, it was just, we were all just fucking menaces. We were just fucked.
Wow.
We were all like little juvenile delinquent criminals.
Yeah.
We were. And then when we hit 19, we were all fucking drinking, doing drugs and shit like that. And I was like, I'll stay here and do this for the rest of my fucking life if I don't get out now. So I was trying to break up with a girl, and I couldn't fucking break up with her. Yep. So I'm like, I'm just going for a holiday to Sydney, and I didn't come back for like 10 years.
Oh, fuck, I love it. You just couldn't do it. Easier to just leave.
Yeah, I just left. I'm like,
well, everything happens for a reason. That was your out.
Yeah, that fucking killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
So then you went to Sydney and realised you can't run away from your shit, so you started doing it over there as well. Drinking and continuing.
Just like I did it worse than ever. Like, I moved to Sydney and it just fucking ramped up because I had no fucking friends when I moved to Sydney.
Yeah.
I had none, like zero. So I started doing door-to-door sales jobs just as something to do. It was like commission-only shit.
What were you selling?
Like Bridgestone car tire services.
Fuck.
It was fucking brutal.
That's brutal, man.
It was brutal. It was
just seeing their faces
no,
to your reaction.
You had to get $89 off them at the door, and you would hand them a fucking cardboard certificate, and like it was just the weirdest transaction. So,
what was your
pitch?
Yeah, so like, and I open the door. What do you say?
So I'd have like, you know those what are they called?
Lanyards?
Yeah, lanyards with like Bridgestone. I'd show them. I'm like, hi, I'm David. I'm just down from Bridgestone. We just opened up around the corner here.
All right.
I was crash. Fucking slam. And then you would get someone, like you would hook someone in, but you do get better at it as well.
Yeah.
Like the more you do it, it's like anything.
So what was your best opener? Like, was it a smile with, hey, I'm
No, just honesty.
Honesty.
Honesty is like,
hey man, I'm selling tires.
yeah, I'm doing this thing. We open up around the corner. It's car servicing. It's fucking good. Like you get all these things free. I used to lie about the parts. The parts weren't included. They're like a parts included. Of course they're included. Of course they are. Here, $89. I can take it, cunt. But you would do that, and like sometimes I would sell 10 in a day, and you would get like $30
per sale. So that's your 300.
Yeah, but you would get
very rare. Sorry,
I probably got it like 5 times or something like that. 300. That's like, it was hard to do it, and they rigged it so the first 4 you would sell, you would get $10 a ticket, and then the next 4 you would get 20, and then the rest you would get 30, and then it would change it to 30.
That's tough.
So if you sell 4, you're better off buying the next one yourself. There was some rigged, so I ended up with a bunch of tickets. I was buying. It was a fucking dodgy game. But yeah, you used to just get drunk and do that as well, and
yeah,
you would get so bitter and angry. I would like rip up people's lawns and fuck them. Real cunts that would just slam the fucking door.
You'd rip up their lawns.
Yeah, I'd rip off their roses. I'm like, fuck you. I would come back later, like 3 hours later after I'm like drunk. I'm like, fuck you. You fucking slam the door in my face, you fucking bitch. Fucking.
We don't have a car.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Does your daughter have a fucking car? Could have bought one for your fucking daughter.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that was fucked. But everyone working there was just Irish and English backpackers, or any backpackers, but mainly Irish and English. So
yeah, a lot of people, desperate people, just looking for some fucking gigs to tie them over.
Just anything, just enough to get a sandwich tomorrow and shit like that.
Fuck.
So, but everyone was drinking. It was such a depressing, fucked up job that there was no possible way you couldn't drink. It was fucked. And yeah, I was what you call a neg. Like I would neg my team out. I would turn them into negative cunts as well. Because every morning they would put on the full sales pitch. Like every door is a potential fucking this and that. Go hit 10,000 doors today and I guarantee you'll sell 100 tickets. And everyone's like, shut the fuck up. But people would get a little bit like excited. This is the day I sell. And I would just be sitting there like, fucking whatever.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy the sales pitch.
Yeah, and I'd be turning to everyone like, fucking, as soon as we get out there, we'll fucking start drinking.
Yeah, totally.
And I got fired from a commission-only sales job, door-to-door sales job, because I was just too negative. They're like, we can't send people out with you. You just end up negging everyone out. we have to let you go. I'm like, you're not even paying me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pay me anything.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
I think they're like, we're after sheep.
Yeah.
Too much of a collie.
Yeah. That was a rough time.
Fuck yeah, man.
Mm.
So back to India. So you lived there for a year. Are you going back there?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
The plan.
You're going to stay here for a while?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's going to be at least a year. 18,
so you're in
18
Melbourne
months.
for a year?
No, I'm in Sydney now.
Permanently?
Yeah.
Well, for the next year?
For the next year, yeah.
Oh, I've got to come up and see you and do some gigs then.
Definitely,
I've got
man.
an excuse.
Yeah. I've got a spare room as well, so just come. Stay
I'll
whenever
come up
you
with
want.
another comic like Hocko, see if he wants to come up for a couple of days.
There's enough room for both of you to stay as well, so it's all
get
good.
our own play, but just to do some gigs and fuck around. I've never done. I did that circuit in 2007.
Oh, really?
I just did the store and a couple of other gigs and left.
Yeah, the store's pretty cool.
I don't even know if they're happening. Like Manly Boat Shed, is that still?
That was happening up until recently. I'm not too sure if it's still going though. That's the thin room, yeah.
Yeah, the boat shed.
Yeah.
That was people say that's a harder circuit than Melbourne. People are more unforgiving. They want you to get to the joke quicker. Is there any stock to that?
I feel like they're more on board with the rough stuff than. All right, this is what happened.
Okay.
I started in Sydney and I built a pretty decent set that was working everywhere in Sydney, and I didn't think much about it. I came to Melbourne and that set started bombing and I couldn't work out why. And then I realized it's because like it was too rough.
Wow.
It was like, and that was like in the height of the PC sort of bullshit in Melbourne.
And were you doing this set across many, many rooms in Sydney?
Everywhere in Sydney. Yeah.
I can't imagine it. And it doesn't work in Melbourne.
It didn't translate.
That's too strange.
Yeah. Because Sydney at the time wasn't PC at all. Like when I came to Melbourne, that was like, I had to change everything.
Fuck.
And then just fucking
like change the whole material or soften it?
I had to take some of the teeth out, but I had to redirect it. You could like bludgeon the Sydney crowd with like a joke, but here you had to redirect it and come from a different angle. It made the jokes better, but it was just a pain in the ass, and it was very PC, and you just had to go around. So, and then I went back to Sydney, and the Melbourne stuff worked even better in Sydney now, and I just started doing gigs again in Melbourne after COVID, and it felt like all that PC shit had dropped off. Like, if not completely, just it felt like it died down a bit. And then I did gigs in Sydney, and it feels like the PC shit, it just ramped up there. So now Sydney feels more PC than Melbourne. Somehow. I don't know.
And how does the Indian comedy circuit compare? From what you see on Bollywood, they don't exchange kisses on TV in Bollywood because it's too rude. Is that conducive of their comedy clubs, or can you go hard in comedy clubs in India?
No, they get arrested, dude. They legitimately get arrested. If
well,
you
like
fucking
you can be Lenny Bruce in India.
Yeah, there's like when I was there, a bunch of comedians, like famous-ish, like pretty famous comedians, had to cancel like 22 shows
across India,
just in Bangalore.
Yeah,
because he said a joke once about the right wing, the right RSS. They're the right wing nationalists in India. He made a joke about them and the Prime Minister and shit. And so now they just fucking sort of follow him around, threatening his venue, saying they're gonna fucking burn it down.
Fuck.
if he gets to do his show. So he had to cancel 22 shows. Some Muslim guy got fucking arrested and thrown into. He spent like a month in jail for a joke he didn't even say. So he had this. How does
that work out?
So he had this joke, this joke about some religious thing. I didn't even listen to it because I think it was in Hindi or something, and it went viral. And then his next show, the police turn up, and they said if you tell this joke, you're going to get arrested. And he didn't even tell the joke, and they're like, fuck it. They arrested him anyway. Yeah. So, like, it's pretty legit there.
So, there's no such thing as free speech in India as there is here? Because I can pay out on anyone I like here.
Yeah.
I can go hard here. I can get cancelled, but by whom? By Channel 10? Big deal. I can still go hard.
Yeah. No, you can go hard, but there's consequences to it in India. Like, there can be serious consequences. Yeah.
That's not
it's
a good
scary.
That's not a good thing.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary and it's not a good thing. I'm scared of any sort of government where you can't say what you want. The whole bastion of our freedom rests on the fact that a clown can get up on stage and roast anyone.
Yeah. It's
like that's what we need as a comedian in society, to poke fun at these fuckers. The day they start arresting us is the day it's all over. That's why I laugh at it.
They'll eventually do it.
Here.
Eventually, I would say.
You say that very prophetically. The way you close your eyes. They will eventually do that. Have you looked at your crystal ball? How the fuck do you know that? You say that with an air of confidence.
Because I think that's the way most societies move in general.
They pendulum, don't they? Like, not every society goes towards... Wait, I don't know enough about geopolitics, but...
Yeah, neither do I, obviously, but that's the feel I get. Even if it is a pendulum, it pendulums right, left, and that's basically the same at the extremes, so...
It's the middle bit.
The middle bit is where we're in now. Yeah.
And we're swinging way towards the left.
If we're swinging... It doesn't matter what way we're swinging, we're fucked.
I think we'll be all right.
I mean,
look at America.
I think for the next 10 years or something, it'll be all right.
You reckon?
Mm.
So you're saying in 20 years you can't get up on stage and go hard at the political party in power?
I have a feeling it's going to get harder and harder to attack power, yeah.
I fucking hope not, man, because that's when we're all fucked. So anyway, how did that affect your comedy in India?
I didn't care. I just did whatever. I just said whatever.
So in India, can you...
I think I got a little bit of leeway though.
Because you're a foreigner.
Yeah.
Like you're their guest. So...
Yeah.
You're not in the system.
So shit that...
But you can't... Sorry.
No, shit that probably would have got an Indian comedian in trouble, I would be fine. Because they would just let it slide.
Is there... Are they just against any sort of attack on political parties, or is it...
It's one particular party. It's the party that's in government now, the BJP, with Narendra Modi. He's the prime minister, but they're sort of backed by the right-wing faction, or the right-wing part. They're not a party, but they're like they influence the politics. They're the right wing, RSS.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have a lot of say in, and they're extreme. They're the ones like going after the Muslims and all that sort of shit in India.
Wow.
They go hard after the Muslims in India. Only in the last 10 years or whatever.
Okay.
Mm.
Is there any other content that you got to police on stage in India that you got to be cautious of? Like drug references?
No.
No? Relationships, sex, smut.
Nah, all that's you can sort of do that. They were complaining about PC, like the Indian comedians were complaining about PC, but I wasn't really seeing it.
Okay.
But a lot of them, they wouldn't do any political shit. They would say here and there a couple of things. It's like common to shit on Modi a little bit. You can say like a couple of things about Modi. But no one would go like deep into like the topic, and I think there's maybe like one or two comedians in India doing that at all, like proper political comedians. Yeah, but religion, you get fucked if you start fucking with religion, politics and religion. That's it.
Did you enjoy your gigs over there? Did you feel like it was a circuit that you could grow? Or is it just a play area where you're like, all right, I'm ready to get back to the real world in terms of my development for stand-up? It was fun to do, but now let's get back to the real work.
it was very challenging because the scene had just been decimated by COVID. But I think it was going downhill. So I started doing gigs in India about 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And they had 2 clubs.
The Comedy Store, right?
Nah, that was in Mumbai.
Okay.
This is in Bangalore. They had a place called That Comedy Club and something else. And like you would do an open mic gig. There'd be 80 fucking people there. Everyone on board. Like crazy nights. It was just like, I was like, I might move to fucking India because this scene is fucking popping. And then a few years later, just before COVID, I went back and it had sort of like petered out. So the comedians that got big in India or during that time, they just all left and they just do like theatre shows, which left like the comedians directly under them who had only been doing comedy for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, the
or
lower
something.
division steps up.
Yeah, the lower division steps up because
They're
those
playing AFL.
because the famous guys, because India's scene's only like 10 years old. So those guys had only been doing it for 9-10 years. They popped, they left, and then the under comedians, the next level down, they'd only been doing comedy for like 4 or 5 years. So they were left to hold everything up, and I don't know if they did, and then it all sort of fell apart. So there was some pretty shitty gigs I was doing out there. But there was one gig that got me through, like I was doing constantly, and that was probably the best gig in Bangalore, and I could do that constantly, and that kept me going. But as it is now, definitely I don't think I could have grown as a comedian there.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got to wrap this up, but you're
Is it all done, is it?
We've got to go. It's just after 6:30.
This is just a chatting podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a funny one.
No, just
We
chat.
didn't do anything funny.
No, unless you want to do shtick.
No, I've got no shtick.
I got no shtick. I just chat. I don't know. I find it
It's
difficult to just.
It's better just chatting anyway. There's less pressure. Yeah. You just fucking have a chat, Catsy.
Feels natural.
Just have a fucking chat. Yeah, we got to go to Kings.
Yeah, Kings of Comedy happening every week. And we're on tonight. Not that you'll know, but we're on most weekends. And as you will be here in Melbourne for the foreseeable future, you will be there too. When are you back in Sydney?
Sunday.
Oh.
I've got shows at the Sydney Festival.
Oh, great.
I've got 4 shows up there.
When does that kick off?
Thursday, next Thursday.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's a smaller festival, isn't it?
Yeah. It's barely even a festival.
2 weeks.
Either 2 weeks or a month, but yeah, it's nothing compared to here.
It'll grow. Remember Perth? That was nothing. Now look at it.
Yeah. They barely even advertise it.
Okay.
In Sydney. Yeah, there's not much.
What's wrong with Sydney? They don't want a comedy festival, or?
I don't know what they want. Coke in the toilets.
Coke in the dunnies. Yeah. Coke festival.